Today's coffee talk is about uneven eyebrows. Uneven eyebrows because you were born that way, uneven eyebrows because they are genetically that way, uneven eyebrows because maybe some brow artist was a little bit too enthusiastic in taking eyebrow hairs from one over the other, and uneven brows because you have a overactive muscle on one side more than the other. So we usually do our eyebrow measuring with tools to be able to get as good and as symmetrical a brow as is possible. We use calipers, we use this, and we also use a sticky ruler, plus our digital tool as well. Now we do it on a resting face, so we ask you not to smile and to relax your eyebrows. Look, our brows don't need to be perfectly symmetrical. It's normal if they're a bit uneven. If anything, it adds a bit of character and allure. In fact, most of the pros would tell you that they shouldn't be identical because ultimately it looks more beautiful when you are slightly unique. However, there are reasons why our eyebrows might become a bit more uneven with time, which may lead to more of a dramatic difference. Even though uneven brows aren't necessarily bad, it's perfectly reasonable if you want to try and get your brows to look more similar. Here's what to do about it. What causes uneven brows? Say one brow is longer than the other, maybe the arch is stronger on one side than the other, or perhaps you have a sparse patch on the right side but not on the left. No matter what's making your eyebrows uneven to the naked eye, there are a few common causes that can be applied across all fronts. Here's what might be going on. Number one, you could have them naturally, genetically. Yes, you can have uneven brows naturally. Look at Kate Winslet here. Nobody is created perfectly symmetrical across the features. Sometimes social media makes you think that everybody is symmetrical. But if your eyebrows are slightly unique, then possibly, and you haven't done anything to make them worse, well then you can fake an arch. Number two, you can fill in the sparse areas if you choose to. Or you can do some plucking to make it look like as if the eyebrows are now symmetrical. So if you pluck a little bit here and pluck a little bit there, sometimes you could end up with a set of uneven brows. So it's important to go to somebody who knows what they're doing. Giving yourself an original brow shape from scratch is no easy task. Instead, you should opt for DIY maintenance, which simply means maintaining the brow shape that the professional has previously defined for you. The reason overplucking can sometimes create an uneven brow is because they take too much hair, which can create an uneven length, shape, and even some empty patches. So, if you are not good with the tweezers, put it down, consult a brow specialist to help you create a base shape that you can maintain at home and let them grow out. Number three, our age. Eyebrows are attached to the skin and to the muscle, and as we age, that muscle begins to slacken and starts to sag. In many circumstances, the muscle and the skin will weaken at different rates, creating asymmetries in the face. So if your brows look uneven, it could be reflecting the state of your underlying skin. And what's more, your bone structure inevitably changes as we age as well, and our bones degrade over time, as in menopause, creating a gap between the muscle and the bone, which can also exacerbate the asymmetry of the eyebrows. Number four, thinning of the eyebrow hairs. That's completely natural as we go down the path of life. So sometimes they can thin more on one side than on the other. And if you're not good with the pencil, I would suggest that you come and have the eyebrows recreated for you by a very natural technique that we do here, natural tattoo called microblading. Number four, Botox. As you know, Botox is used to paralyze the facial muscles in order to keep the skin looking tight. We love it. However, sometimes the person administering Botox is overly focused on eliminating the fine lines that they don't take into account your eyebrows. And sometimes you can end up with one eyebrow because there's certain muscles in the frontalis, that's the forehead muscle here, and its job is to keep the eyebrow down. So if Botox is applied, prohibiting the movement in the muscle, the brow can actually float a little bit. But we can also use it to our advantage because we can go to our Botox doctor and ask them to inject into a different muscle to raise the eyebrow. Luckily, Botox doesn't last forever. So if you have an uneven brow because of Botox, it'll go back to normal in time, usually 3 months. It's always best to have a conversation with your medical professional and mention that your brows are of a concern. So if this has happened to your brows, it may manifest into an uneven brow, one eyebrow raising higher than the other. Luckily, Botox doesn't last forever, so uneven brows will go back to normal usually in about 3 months or so. So it's always best to have a conversation with your medical professional, your doctor, your dentist, prescribing nurse, and mention that your brows are of a concern and you want to keep the brows in mind when they're applying or injecting you with Botox. And one more thing to keep in mind is that it takes 1 to 2 weeks for your eyebrows to take full effect of Botox. So if you notice that your brows are beginning to look a bit uneven, go back into the office where you received your Botox and ask them to just maybe apply more or insert more. And this happens more often than people realise. Number 5, if you're a side sleeper, so if you sleep on one side more than the other, this can be kind of detrimental because it breaks down the muscle in that side of the face faster than the other side. And what's more, sleeping on one side actually affects the rate at which your eyebrows hairs shed. The increase in friction can cause the eyebrow hairs to shed faster, especially the tail of the brow. And in turn, this can cause thinning of the eyebrow and an early cut-off. However, if you naturally have very strong conditioned eyebrow hairs that are well rooted, this shouldn't be a problem. It's another reason to add maybe a brow serum to your beauty routine. If you're truly concerned about how sleeping on one side will impact on your skin or your brows, you can try to switch sleeping on your back. This transition isn't always easy, but it's certainly possible. You could invest in a silk pillowcase. This will help to decrease the friction and prevent the threads tugging on your brow hairs, and your hair and skin will thank you as well. So how do we fix uneven brows? Well, once you know what exactly is making your eyebrows look uneven, then there are a few different approaches that we can take in order to encourage symmetry. So let's dive into brow rehab. So, encouraging eyebrow hairs to grow. So whether you're looking to regrow your brows or prevent future fallout, encouraging hair growth is a must. Topically, you can consider an eyebrow serum like Revita Brow. This is packed with peptides, hyaluronic acid, hydrolyzed wheat protein to support your brows at any point in their journey. So when you're researching for the best brow serum, consider following those ingredients. Number 2, you can fill them in. So you can use various brow tools and makeup products to fill in any sparse patches to even out your eyebrow shape. So there's a couple to consider below for your ideal look. Brow gels will hold your eyebrow hairs in place as if they've been freshly combed. If you notice that your eyebrows are growing in different directions, eyebrow gel is your friend to help even them out. You can use powders. Powder is a little bit more subtle, and you can use an angled brush and apply your brow powder. Brow pomade is a little bit more dramatic, and we find that people love to use that in the evening time for a drama brow. Brow pencils. Brow pencils are great for filling in scars and defining the perimeter for your eyebrow, and it's great for brow line work. Really, really, really thin pencils like this one are fantastic. They're a great option for anybody who's trying to fill in a gap without filling in the rest of the brow or extending the brow tail. So, if you're removing hairs, remove responsibly. So, if you are removing brow hairs, please remove them responsibly. I mean, many things in the beauty space are DIY friendly, and creating even and well-shaped brows isn't, unless you have plenty of experience in a specialised area. Even visiting a professional one time to set up your brows for the future is worth the price, especially if your brows are a point of insecurity for you. So, waxing, tweezing, plucking, threading, and then you have semi-permanent options. So we have more long-lasting solutions like microblading, microshading. Both of these methods are applying semi-permanent tattoo, ink or pigment into the skin to mimic and filled in brow, but the results are generally pretty different. Microblading itself creates hair-like strokes, which microshading mimics more of a brow powder. The looks vary, and one is more natural depending on how it's performed and your personal preference and how your skin likes it. As a rule of thumb, those of you who like a brow pencil will fancy the look of microblading, while as those like a brow powder or a pomade will lean towards blade and shade. So if you want to dive deeper into the difference between the two, we're always here to ask and answer. Just ask and we'll answer all of your questions. All right. I hope that helps. Bye.